right, so let's go ahead and find a comfortable seat. You're welcome to sit cross-legged, kneeling. If you need to be in a chair, that's also welcome, whatever works for you. And we're going to go ahead and make sure that you're taking good care of your joints. So you want to be sitting up on something if you need that. If you get any pain in your knees, ankles, or hips, you want to make sure that you're really taking care. So from there, we're going to go ahead and softly close the eyes. Slightly lengthen up through the back of your neck. And let your breath and your awareness really come online here. We're going to start with a nice 3-second inhale, even if that feels shallow to you. We're going to count that inhale, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3. And just silently count that to yourself. And then increase the number by 1 or 2, depending on what feels natural to you. So that you're slightly deepening that breath and just counting silently, letting nearly all of your attention come into the breathing. As you continue counting, finding a number that feels like a deep and full inhale, a deep and full exhale, even if it's 7 or 8 or 9, whatever works for you. Keep your attention on that count and also notice sensation in your body. Feel downward into your seat. Whatever you're sitting on, the floor, a block, a cushion, a chair, still counting your breath. Notice if there's any sense of draw to your attention in your body. There might be a little ache in the knee or a hip. There might be a part of your torso that feels really open and wonderful. Just noticing whatever you feel, whatever you notice as you count. And let's incorporate, while we're still counting the breath, a forward bend and a back bend. So as you inhale next time, open your heart, lean slightly back, and as you exhale, forward bend, almost like a seated cat-cow. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2. Whatever number works for you, follow your own breath. Make sure that your movements feel right to your body. If you're practicing at 5 a.m., these might be gentle movements as your body gets oiled up, so to speak. If it's the afternoon or evening, you might feel more warmed up and want fuller range of motion. So really tailor it to your body. And using your breath and your awareness are the keys to choosing well. From From there, let's float the arms out, reaching back behind you with your elbows and your palms on your inhale. Exhale, come to prayer position, neutral spine, hands resting in front of the heart. Let your eyes softly close if they're open. And find some gratitude for space and time to practice. Shelter. Even having the impulse to practice, something to be grateful for. And dedicate your practice to anything that has meaning for you. Could be a loved one that's struggling. Could be a concept. Working with self-discipline, self-care, whatever's there for you. Find it. Dedicate this next 45 to 50 minutes of practice to that. And when you found it, just incline your chin to your chest, releasing your head into gravity, bowing your heart, your head and your heart forward. And floating your head back up, your spine back up. Let's release the hands down, inhale them out to the side and all the way up overhead. Draw your shoulders down, so pull those shoulders toward your hips. Let's take a kind of a V shape overhead. Extend your fingers, wake them up with a little wiggle, and feel down into your seat. See if you can feel what you're sitting on. Feel the sensations, the connection of your rear toward your seat. And simultaneously have the crown of your head awake and your fingertips awake. Let's even feel like the knees are awake. They may be contacting the floor. Deep breaths. From there, bend the elbows, interlace the hands overhead. If it works for you, get a nice tight interlace, turn the palms to face up. Draw your shoulders down as you extend the arms up. If you're working with a shoulder injury, a neck injury, and this feels overwhelming, find your way back to this, or this, or this. Find your position. Breathe wherever you are. Make sure it's breathable. Feel safe. Challenging, a little achy, feeling afraid of what you feel. All of those are fine. Just breathe into it. Feel if it's safe. Trust your instincts. Feel your seat. One more huge breath in. And on your exhale, slowly bend your elbows. Slowly release your arms down into your lap somewhere. And feel, with eyes closed, feel relief. Go ahead and find our way off of our cushion, coming onto all fours. Let's go right into cat-cow. Nice tabletop position, shoulders over wrists, knees under hips. Go ahead and exhale, tucking under. Inhale, looking up, and just follow your breath. Inhale up, exhale under. Follow your own pacing. Ideally, in these videos, as you get used to practicing with the video and the audio, I'm hoping that my descriptions can be clear enough that you only need to take occasional peeks at the screen, and that for the most part you can follow along with breath and just listening. Ideally, you stay with your own breath and your own body, and look at the screen like you would look at a fellow classmate in an actual yoga class, where you're just finding some clarity, finding something to follow if you didn't catch the instruction or are newer to practice. Good. Coming to a neutral spine, let's go ahead and float the right arm and the left leg up, right alongside the spine, trying to keep the torso very still. Hold. Strong, straight arm. Don't collapse into your shoulder and your neck. Pushing down, shoulder toward hip. Trying to find stillness from your head to your hips. And then from there, go ahead and release down. Feel the stillness of your spine as you inhale, left arm, right leg up, without moving your spine much at all. Hold. Breathe. Look down between where your hands, in between where your hands were. And exhaling down. Inhale up on the other side. Exhale down. We're going to go breath by breath here. Inhale up. Exhale down. Follow your breath. Even if my pacing is different, go ahead and follow your breath. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Feel the connection of your knee and your hand. Rise up with the opposite side from there. Exhale down. One more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Good. From there, we're going to step the hands forward about 6-8 inches. Spread the fingers really wide. Externally rotate the arms. And then curl the toes under. Reach back into a bent knee, downward facing dog. Feet are about hip width. Lengthen through the spine, lengthen through the arms. Let your head be in line with the spine. If your hamstrings are open, begin to straighten the legs. You can take it all the way to straight. If your hamstrings are open, it's okay if they're not, and it's actually important if they're not to keep a slight bend. Otherwise, if you peek at the screen, if your hamstrings are tight, this is going to happen. And you're going to end up in a downward dog putting a ton of pressure on your shoulders. So bend those knees, reach way back through the hips. And come just to the edge of straight legs where you feel like your spine stays long and straight. Breathe. From there, we're going to go ahead and come down onto the floor, take it into child's pose, sitting down on your heels, toward your heels. Knees can be open or together. Rest your forehead on the ground. You can either relax the arms or straighten the arms. Go ahead and breathe here. Great. Come on back up to all fours. From there, we're going to stand up on the knees and step the left leg forward to a lunge. And if you'll notice here, as I step forward, my foot is quite a bit in front of my knee, because when I sink into the lunge, I want the knee to end up over the ankle. So now we're fairly perpendicular to the floor. That's where you want to end up in your lunges. From there, let's float the arms out to the side and up overhead. Draw the shoulders down, lift the heart. It's okay to have the back toes tucked under or extended out behind you, whatever's your preference. Breathe, breathe, breathe. On your next exhale, press the air away. Dive over your front leg. Rest your torso over your front leg and bow your head. Keeping the back knee down for now. If you want a little bit more depth, curl your back toes under and straighten your back leg. Keep your head bowed, taking a nap over your front leg with your upper body. Inhale, rise up with your head. Exhale, stepping back into downward facing dog. Transition in a way that feels harmonious and safe for you. Breathe, 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 staying in downward facing dog. If you're not clear on another option on transitioning, I'm just going to demonstrate that. That would probably be setting the back knee down, rising up, stepping back, table pose, downward dog. On your next inhale, let's go ahead and set the knees down. Rise up with your upper body. Step your right leg forward to a lunge. When you're ready, sinking in, trying to square your hips up toward that front foot. And then from there, we're going to float the arms out to the side and up overhead, lifting the heart, breathing deeply. Sometimes people get a little cramp in their low back, usually on the side of the front leg. So in this case, it would be on my right side. I'm not getting it, but sometimes people get that. If that happens, you can just lean forward a little bit, or you can lower your arms either down or out to the side. Usually softening that back bend is what will alleviate that. It's also okay to feel it and breathe through it. 2 more deep, full breaths here. Connect into your front footprint, your breath. Exhale, pressing the air away, diving over that front leg, bowing your spine over, letting your head melt, even letting your elbows bend, and breathing fully. If you ever come to a place where you can't reach the floor, you can always put blocks under your hands. Heavy head, deep breaths. If you choose, curl your back toes under, straighten your back leg. Let your head stay heavy, your breath present. From there, we're going to float the head up, take a deep breath in. On your exhale, stepping back into downward facing dog. Inhale into a plank. Exhale, lower yourself down. Engage your legs by pointing your toes out behind you, feet together. Pushing into the tops of your feet so your knees lift off the mat. And then float up into a back bend of your choosing. I'm doing a baby cobra, sort of a very gentle back bend, drawing my shoulders toward my hips, elbows toward my hips. Look up between your eyebrows wherever you are. Releasing safely down, heading back into child's pose. Let's go with extended child's pose here with the arms straight and strong. Essentially downward dog arms, a little external rotation. If possible, forehead resting on the mat. And as always, breathing fully, breathing deeply, staying connected to your breath as much as possible. From there, we're going to go ahead and rise up. Step our hands forward a bit, right back in on an exhale into downward facing dog. And from there, we're going to step our feet right behind our hands into a hip width stance, forward bend. Relax into gravity. It's okay to bend your knees a little bit. Let your head go. Soften your shoulders, your arms. Wherever you are, just letting go. Ragdoll upper body, supportive, conscious placement of your feet and legs. Deep breaths. From there, we're going to bend the knees and then float up to a straight spine, almost like you're a swimmer getting ready to dive at an Olympic meet. And then from there, float your arms out to the side, push into the earth to rise up. Take a little back bend, breathe, exhale, neutral spine, hands to heart center. Stay with your breath. Relax down into your footprints. Good. From there, we're going to go ahead and go through a couple of balancing poses. Release your arms down. Float your arms out to the horizon, shoulder height. Turn your palms to face forward. Lift your right leg. Brighten your hands so that you're extending all the way through. And then if it works for you, you're going to cross your ankle over your thigh and sink down into kind of a standing eye of the needle. Once you have your position, you're welcome to keep your hands on your ankle and knee. You're welcome to come to a prayer position. You're welcome to go airplane arms and stay with it. Breathe, breathe, breathe. I'm going to give you a different angle if it's helpful. You're going to sink down if you're not already and choose your pose. Trying to have a straight back. We don't want to be here. We want to find our length, find our spine so we can tune into it, and then choose your arm variation and breathe. Try to have the back of your neck long so your head is in line with your spine, your neck is in line. When you're done, you're going to safely rise, safely set both feet down, and breathe, feeling both feet connecting down into the earth. When you're ready, we're going to float the Opposite leg up should be your left, arms out to the horizon. Taking a moment to feel into your standing leg, feel into your balance. Some days the winds are blowing, and that's okay, you just work with it. It's always okay to take a wall if you need a little bit of support. And then let's cross that left leg over, sinking down, choosing your arm position. Again, a wall could be your arm position. Breathe, 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 and really try to find your spine. There's a lot of strengthening, a lot of stretching, and a lot of awareness needed. A few more breaths. When you're done, you're going to safely rise up, step down, inhale your arms right up overhead, exhale, sink down into a chair pose with your arms reaching behind you here. Turn your palms to face the floor so the chest opens wide, reach way back behind you, and breathe. Try to feel deep receiving through your next inhale. Exhale, folding over, straightening the legs a bit into a forward bend. Relax here. Soften your shoulders. See if your elbows and arms can get a little heavier. Your head as well. From there, we're going to bend the knees again, coming to that swimmer's getting ready to dive position, lifting the heart, and then float the arms out, push into the earth, inhale up, little back bend, exhale, neutral spine. Just standing, hands to heart center. From there, we're going to release the arms down, open up on your mat so that you're stepping nice and wide with the length, long direction of the mat. And step nice and wide. We're going to go through a bunch of standing poses here. So go ahead and turn your right toes out 90 degrees, your back heel out just a little, 30 degrees or so. And then from there, root down through your legs, connect consciously into your footprints. And then from there, you're going to float your arms right out to the horizon. Take a nice deep breath in. Root through your back leg, your left leg, and bend your front knee. Knee right over the ankle, just like a typical lunge. Turn your gaze to the right. Soften your shoulders and breathe. Turn your front palm, your right palm to face up. Inhale that arm right up overhead. Keep your back leg straight and strong. Either rest your backhand on your leg or wrap it around your back, grabbing your right front of your right hip, and breathe. Exalted warrior, reverse warrior. From there, we're going to release over into extended lateral angle, forearm to thigh. Arm comes up overhead. You can look up under your elbow or bicep to the ceiling. If there's more openness in your body, you've been practicing a long time, you can take your hand down to the floor or a block. Stay strong through your left leg, full of breath. Draw your shoulders down a little bit. Connect into the outer arch of your left foot. The tendency is to roll a little bit and bend that back knee, which I'm doing right now. Straighten that leg, root into the outer arch of the foot. From there, we're going to inhale the left arm up. Start to straighten your front leg right into triangle. Feel your footprints, feel your breath. Next, inhale, rising up. Release your arms. Go ahead and turn your feet in the opposite direction. 90 degrees with your left toes. Back heel turns out a little. Float the arms out to the horizon. Engage and strengthen through your back leg. Exhale, sinking into warrior two. Turning your gaze to your left. You want to make sure that your your left knee is tracking straight towards your left toes. So the tendency is for people's knees to fall forward. So we want to keep that hip open. This is a hip opener. Turning your gaze, relaxing the shoulders, and rooting back and down through your back leg. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Wake up your fingertips. Wake up the outer arch of your back foot, your right foot. Turn your left palm to face up. Stay in the lunge as you reverse the warrior. Stay strong in your right leg, strong and anchored. On your next exhale, hinging over into extended lateral angle, forearm to thigh or hand to floor or block. Right arm either comes all the way alongside the ear, or it's okay to take it up here as well, especially if you have a shoulder injury. Really take care. Breathe. From there, we're going to draw the right arm up toward the ceiling. Start to straighten your front leg, rising up to triangle. Breathing, connecting into your footprints. Strong legs. On your next inhale, rising up. Release your arms down. Turn your feet nice and straight. And from there, we're going to step the feet about hip width apart. Outer arches parallel. Float the arms right up in front of you. Sink down into a chair pose. Breathe. Try to find a nice balance between your heels and your toes so that your ankles relax. Wake up your fingertips. From there, we're going to rest the elbows on the knees, palms come together. If you can't reach there easily or safely, it's okay if your position is here. anything in between. You find your pose, breathe. From there, we're going to straighten the legs, rest in a forward bend. As much as you're able to, relax your head, deeply breathe, stay connected to what you're feeling, resting in that forward bend. From there, we're going to place our hands toward the top of our mat. You're going to step right back into a plank pose. And just find your plank. If you have lots of practice and you know your plank, go for it, hold it, breathe it. And I'm just going to briefly go through different variations while you keep holding your plank if you're comfortable with it. Another option is knees down. Another option is forearms if you have any kind of wrist injury, with knees down or with straight legs. And whether you're on your forearms or on your hands, make sure that you're not collapsing into your shoulders. So here's me collapsing and here's me pressing my chest away from the floor, which makes space in my shoulder joints. Same thing here, collapsing, shoulders rising. Here's me pressing my chest away from the floor and shoulders toward hips. So find that opening, that health for your joints. Next exhale, downward dog. Transition if you were on your forearms to all your hands for downward dog. Breathe. From there, we're going to step the left leg forward to a lunge. Drop the back foot at an angle like you were setting up for warrior two, but we're going to keep our hips square this way. Rise up on your fingertips. Right now, I could do this on my fingertips, but it would be a little better. My spine would be in line with my back leg more if I come up on a block. Looking for that straight line. Find that for yourself, even though you might not have a video camera watching you that you can check. From there, float your right arm up overhead, reach out your back leg. Breathe. Stay connected to your breath, connect into the outer arch of your right foot. If you want a little more, you can draw your left arm alongside your body, connecting it like you're reaching towards your back heel. Breathe. Excellent. From there, we're going to go ahead and coming to a straight lunge, pivoting the back foot straight, deep inhale, exhale, downward dog. Feel the moment you're in. Take good care of your alignment. Staying connected to the inner arches of your hands, your thumb and index finger side of your palms connecting. Deep breaths, back of the neck long. Don't be shy to bend your knees if that's what you need to have a straight spine. On your next inhale, right leg forward to a lunge. Back foot drops at an angle. Front knee over the ankle. And then from there, placing a block underneath if you need it, under your right hand. Try to find the straight spine, crown of the head to your back heel. Straight line. Float your left arm up overhead. Breathe. Most important. Breathe, breathe, breathe. relax your neck a little bit. Make sure you're not taking tension in. If you want a little more, take your right arm behind you so that you don't have any support with your hands on the ground. Reach out your left leg. Strong, strong, strong. From there, releasing the hands to the floor, setting up, pivoting the back foot to a straight lunge, exhaling, downward facing dog. Inhale to a plank. Exhale, lower yourself down. Inhale, back bend of your choosing. Engage your legs. Float up to a cobra. Breathe. An up dog is fine. Just so you can see if you're unfamiliar, this is an up dog. Strong legs, looking up between my eyebrows. If it feels like too much, you back away and do a cobra. Releasing safely down and back into downward facing dog. Commit to the breath. On your next inhale, left leg forward to pigeon. Left knee to the outside of the left wrist. Foot comes across the body. Set the back knee down. It might be here, and then you slide that leg back. Breathe. Stay with your pose, lift your heart. If you're unfamiliar, giving a different angle, the knee comes to the outside of the wrist, and then you slide the back leg back. Lifting the heart, trying to draw the chest open, breathing fully. On your next exhale, wherever you are, safely, slowly release over and listen to that right hip. It might say an inch down is enough. It might say forearms is the place to be. It might say laying your torso all the way on the floor is the right place to be. So just listen, find your edge safely, breathe, respect it. Breathe fully into it, and wherever you are, try to relax the head into gravity slowly. Always transitioning with mindfulness and breath. Three more breaths. Safely rising up. Supporting yourself, planting your hands like you're preparing for downward facing dog, shoulder width apart, fingers spread wide. Curl your back toes under, straighten the back leg, and then extend right back into downward facing dog. Breathe and feel. Go ahead and come high up onto the toes. Reach out your tailbone with vigor. Set those heels back toward the earth. Inhale, right leg forward to pigeon. Knee to the outside of the wrist, setting the back knee down. Lifting the heart, listening to your body. You can take a look and see what the pose is if you're new to it, but listen to your body. It's okay to adjust a little bit, trust your intuition of what depth is right for you. Never, ever hurting yourself in any way. Keep with your breathing, trying to have a sense that your hips are relatively squared up in this direction, forward, as opposed to sitting off to the side and opening up the hips, which is common. So you're trying to square up your hips forward, deep breaths, feel into that right hip. When you're ready, slowly, with breath, descending over with your upper body, studying what you feel, breathing into what you feel, and listening for what's the right depth. Sometimes having a block to put your head on, if it's hard to go all the way down, can be supportive. You can find your level. Breathing deeply, feeling deeply. Bring breath into what you feel the most. When you're ready, safely rising up with your upper body, planting your hands like you're preparing for downward dog, spreading the fingers wide, curl the toes under behind you. Take a deep inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, start moving to like a three-legged plank, and then extend your front leg back into downward facing dog. Breathe, breathe, breathe. From there, we're going to inhale to a plank. You're welcome to hold right in plank. If you want a little bit more in-depth core strengthening, you're going to do kind of a marching where you bring one knee forward and then the other knee forward consistently, trying not to sag your hips toward the earth as you do it. So keep your hips relatively still and level as you march in place. Make sure it feels safe on your wrists if you're on your hands. It's also okay to just do a forearm plank and hold it. You can do it on your knees as well. Hold plank wherever you are. Press your chest away from the floor. Lift your heart away from the earth. Strong, straight legs. Exhale, downward facing dog. From there, we're going to come toward a plank, step one foot about 3/4 of the way up the mat with the toes turned slightly out, followed by the other leg, and you're going to sink right down into a squat position. From there, place the elbows between the knees, palms together, and breathe. If getting your feet flat in a squat position is not an option, you can have a block underneath your hips. Make sure it's stable so it doesn't fall, and you can do it in that way. And right now I'm not challenged at all, so I would take that just a little lower, and now I feel a little bit of a challenge. A safe challenge, but like I'm doing something. Breathe into what you feel. If you don't need the block, don't use it. Breathe. I'm using this pressure of this Anjali Mudra, the prayer position with my hands, to draw my hips a little bit safely open. Lengthen your spine. 3 more breaths here. From there, when you're ready, you're going to find your way safely out of the pose. You're going to come onto your back. We're going to go ahead, actually before we come on our back, let's go ahead and bring our feet toward our hips, toward our sit bones with our heels, and you're going to interlace your forearms around your shins and try to sit up really tall and really straight. Lift the heart. I'm getting a hold of my wrists here so that I have a nice solid grip, trying to be hip width with my feet and my knees as I draw my belly and my chest like I'm trying to pull them up toward the sky and forward through my legs. Breathe, breathe, breathe. A couple more here. From there, we're going to go ahead and work our way toward a boat position or a partial boat position. So if you have low back pain when you do this, keep a hold of your shins, either with your forearms or maybe your hands. And you're just going to try to find a balance without your feet on the ground, even if they're just barely touching or slightly hovering. And notice as I do this, I'm rounding my back. I want to keep trying to lift through my spine, through my heart, as I do this balancing pose. You might find no back pain. You might experiment lifting the arms and extending them forward. And then if that feels safe and manageable, then you're going to extend your legs either a little straighter or completely straight. Lifting your heart, taking a boat pose. Again, find your pose. Respect your edges. Challenge yourself. Again, I'm giving all the options here so you can stay in your pose, wherever that is. You could stay like this. You could stay like this. So play with it a little bit. Find your balance. I recommend having the mounds of your toes together, and then you can decide if you want to point your toes or if you want to flex your feet. Either way is fine. You should be heating up in your core and your hip flexors, fronts of your hips. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And then safely release the feet down. Scoot yourself so that you'll end up all the way on your mat and lay yourself back. Hug your knees into your chest. We're going to go ahead and take a happy baby position. So you're going to get a hold of the outsides of your soles of your feet. You're going to come up and draw your arms around to the inside of your knees. And you're going to flex the feet. And you're kind of pulling your knees, thighs toward the earth. Breathe, breathe, breathe here. Some people like to find a little bit of a rocking here. You can do that if you'd like. I'm more inclined to find the steadiness in the breath. Keep your chest open, the back of your neck long, your head heavy. If your head is heavy to the earth, your neck and jaw will be more relaxed. From there, we're going to draw the soles of the feet together, coming into kind of a reclined butterfly pose. And let those knees draw open. Breathe and feel. From there, we're going to place the feet on the floor, about hip width apart. And we're going to go ahead and lift up into a bridge pose. When you're ready, extend your fingertips toward your heels so that your shoulders aren't up at your ears. Draw the shoulders down, back of the neck long. And in case you're unclear on back of the neck long, here's back of the neck short, and here's back of the neck long. And then rise up with the hips if you haven't already. Try to have equal weight distribution, right and left leg. Lift the hips skyward, breathe, relax your neck and jaw. Press the backs of your shoulders and your arms down into the mat. Bend at the elbows. Press your elbows and forearms down into the earth, palms facing together, to help support lifting your hips and your ribs higher. Relax your neck. Breathing deeply. Slowly releasing down when you're ready. Once your sacrum and hips touch the floor, hug the knees right into the chest, narrow or wide, whatever you like. And let's go ahead and bring the forehead toward the knees, round up as high as you can, like you're rounding into a little ball. Draw your shoulders or elbows toward your hips. Deep breaths. From there, let's release our head down, our feet down, and before we extend into Shavasana, take stock of sensation. Feel into your body and see if there is clarity of something your body needs besides Shavasana. There may be a pose that flashes in your mind that you know you need or want. If that comes, go ahead and do that. Listen to your body. Take yourself into whatever it is you're drawn to. If nothing is there and you feel ready for Shavasana, extend out with your legs. If you need something underneath your knees, you can set yourself up with that. If you feel safe just laying out flat, you can do that. And if you've taken your way, you make your way to Shavasana, if you've already done that, allow your body to sink into the earth. Sink into your mat, into whatever floor you're practicing on. Really feeling like you're connecting and communing fully with gravity. Allowing any effort in body or breath to fall away. And if you're still finishing up your intuitive closing of practice, go ahead and finish that in the next 20 or 30 seconds and find your way to Shavasana. Allowing your body to recover, to rest, to connect into gravity as your system integrates all that you asked it to do. rest here for a few more minutes if you'd like. And then when you are complete in your Shavasana, mindfully roll onto one side, come to a seated position, briefly honor your practice, each other. You can feel into your yoga community, even if they're not with you in the room. And if you haven't already, let's go ahead and find our way onto one side into a fetal position, resting for a moment there. And then using the support of your arms to make your way up to a comfortable seat, cross-legged or kneeling. Using any seating material you need to be comfortable. Softly closing the eyes once you find your seat. Let's float the arms out to the side and all the way up overhead. Bring the palms to touch. Exhale, lowering your hands down in front of your heart. Thank you all so much for your practice. I look forward to the time where we get to all be in the same space again. I know it's coming. I can absolutely feel out to each one of you. Namaste. So as these are trial videos, trying a new venture, trying to see if there's a way to offer this practice to you virtually through video, I would recommend that you try to practice the hour-long practice at least once a week. You're welcome to do it every day, but at least once a week. And that you do the 15-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute practice, whatever it is that I offer each month. This time it's going to be an hour-long practice, a 20-minute practice, and I think I'm going to offer like a 10-minute mindful meditation, that you try to do them at least each once a week. And absolutely, you can repeat them as many times as you want. And I would love to get your feedback about how it's working for you, if there's thoughts of something else you would like to see. And stay connected. Send me an email, send me a message, tell me what you think about the idea of this monthly membership. And again, I hope to hear from you. I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you so much for practicing together. I'll see you next time.